So I'm here with Phil Dickinson, who's the Vice President of International Markets for Qatar Tourism. Welcome, Phil.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. So everybody's talking about the World Cup at the moment. How are the preparations going? Because we're nearly there, aren't we?
We are, yes. Preparation's going really well. 12 years in the making and a huge amount of work as a destination to make sure we're ready for the World Cup. A huge amount of infrastructural changes, fabulous new metro system, a new grand terminal, cruise port, 100 new hotels, a new road layouts, effectively almost a new city with Lusail as well. So yeah, I mean a lot of planning. I think there's a real buzz and excitement now. Obviously it's so close. It feels like the whole destination is a fan zone almost from the moment you arrive into Qatar at Hamad International Airport. You see all the branding. Because we're not a big country, obviously a lot of firsts as a World Cup, the first World Cup where people will be able to do more than one game in a day. A first as in the most green World Cup, most sustainable, carbon neutral World Cup in that the spectators and the teams don't have to travel vast distances to get between the matches. And obviously we've got electric buses taking people there, and we've got the metro taking people to the games as well. And a first for the region, the first World Cup ever to be hosted in the Middle East. So some people can come and learn a little bit more about the local culture and the local people, and they'll experience the warmth and of the destination. So yeah, we're excited. I think we're ready. So we're expecting about 1.2 million visitors over the course of the World Cup. It's all been put together by our Supreme Committee and with FIFA. So yeah, let's get it on.
So the World Cup is very much a springboard for launching Qatar as a tourism destination with the eyes of the world on the destination. So what do you think will be the impact, short and long term, of staging such a big event?
Well, yeah. So firstly, 5 billion people watching the World Cup. So, but of course, mainly they'll be focusing on the football. But from ourselves, from a Qatar Tourism perspective, we'll be really working hard to activate all of our plans post the World Cup. We've got a lot of campaigns coming, so we have our new Feel More campaign. We've got a Perlo campaign, which is the famous Italian footballer that will run throughout the World Cup and beyond. So a lot of campaign activity will be TV, print, digital, out of home, billboard, to make sure people are sort of remembering what they can see and do in Qatar. But in terms of the trade as well, we're working very closely with all the major tour operators and travel agencies and OTAs on partnerships, on campaigns where they can be the call to action, getting all the new product on the shelf, because we've got all these new fabulous hotels that people can enjoy. So I think it'll be a mixture of a lot of activity with the consumer to make sure that people can see and do, understand what they can see and do in the destination, as opposed to just the football piece that they'll see. But obviously working with the trade as the main call to action. So when the inquiries come into the travel agency or when they go to the tour operators, they'll be able to sell it. We've also launched a Qatar Specialist Program, which is a program for the travel agency, so they can fully update themselves with everything Qatar in these modules. They can do, it's about 3.5 hours, 10 modules. They earn medals, and at the end they get a certificate. And then with that certificate, they become part of our community, and they get preferences on fam trips and competitions and newsletters and everything else. So it's a full 360 sales and marketing approach that we'll have to make sure that we'll be heavily building on that momentum of the World Cup.
Now, obviously, at the moment, it's all football. But what would you like to be the key kind of takeaways that the audience at WTM have this year about Qatar and what you have to offer?
Yeah, listen, I think it's the cultural aspect, isn't it? I mean, I think you'll see it in our campaigns. It's more about the warmth of the people, the sort of the authenticity, the history, the culture, so people can, I think the takeaways from the World Cup will be in the first World Cup in the Middle East. So the takeaways will be people will be able to get a bit more of an understanding of a Middle East country and the culture. But I think the building on that, people can come down and learn a little bit more. I mean, see our fabulous museums where they can see as I said, the history of the country. They can go out and experience the desert, some desert adventures. They can canoe in the mangroves. They can active holidays with kite surfing. So that I think there's so many things that they can see and do in Qatar. But I think what we're going to get across when you'll see it in our campaigns, is that Feel More is our tagline. So I think it's more about people being able to sort of immerse themselves a little bit in the richness of the tradition and the culture and the history of the country, in addition to all the modernity that we have with the new resorts as well.
Phil, thank you very much. Wish you every success and look forward to watching the World Cup too.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.